Hi, I'm Stephen and welcome to Audio Nautica. If you're an audiophile, that probably means that you're endlessly tinkering with your system, looking for a way to get that little bit of something extra, that something special out of your system. And the thing that you know if you're an audiophile about doing that is that can be expensive. You know, if you're buying a new DAC or a new integrated or a new set of speakers every year or so, then yeah, that really adds up. What if I told you that there was a way that you could get a real boost to your system without spending a cent, or hardly a cent anyway? This is recently what I did with my system. I bought Paul McGowan's Audiophile's Guide to the Loudspeaker, this little book, and it has an accompanying CD that comes with it. And it tells you how to adjust your system, most especially the loudspeaker positions. And you know, this isn't rocket science, but we've all heard of, I'm sure, the sweet spot. You know, hi-fi systems have a sweet spot, the best spot for listening, or the listening position. So what the Audiophile's Guide to the Loudspeaker does is it helps you to tweak the position of your speakers to maximize that sweet spot. So yeah, that's what I did. I mean, I know this is still not ideal, but you can see I've got my little bits of blue painter's tape on the floor, and this shows me where exactly I've worked out for the speakers to go to enhance the sweet spot. And yeah, it has certainly made a noticeable difference. The soundstage has improved. The whole point, if you listen to Paul McGowan, is to make it sound like the music is not coming from the speakers, but is coming from a band, whether that be an orchestra or a rock group or a piano, whatever it is, to make it sound like it is coming from behind the speakers, as if you have the musicians sitting in your room behind the speakers. So that's what we're aiming to do. Now, this room is a huge problem, and the guide does talk about working with the room. This room is almost square, which is not good. This room is not a dedicated listening room. I don't have a dedicated listening room. This is a Victorian house that was built in the late 1800s. When this house was built, it didn't have electricity and it didn't have sewage. So listening rooms was not really on the architect's mind. So this room is actually my office, and it has a heap of bookshelves in it. So initially I had the bookshelves were along this wall here to the left of the speakers, and then there was another bookshelf over there, which meant that these speakers, my lovely JBL 4333s, they were jammed into the corners, which, you know, everybody knows is the worst place for speakers to be. But, you know, when you move into a house, you just got to get stuff in there. So I finally got around to rearranging things. So I've moved some of the bookcases out, put the other bookcases behind me. So at least the area where the speakers are is much better than it was. I've been able to get the speakers away from the walls, get them out of the corners, and have the space to actually be able to align them, to angle them, and this is part of the process, to be able to tweak that sweet spot. So yes, I know there's still quite a few compromises. As I said, because this is my office, well, I've got this thumping great big desk sitting in front of my listening position. But I just don't have time to go and sit myself in front of a hi-fi system and do nothing. I have to keep on with my work. So the reason why the system is here, aside from the fact that there's no other room that's really suitable, is I wouldn't listen to it if I had a dedicated listening room, because I just don't have the time. So this means that I actually can enjoy my music while I'm doing some work here in my office. As I mentioned, I know it's not ideal. There's still some things to do. I mean, I've got this, I've got my CDP 101 is jammed behind this speaker. I need to get some new racks for this gear. I'm actually hoping to build some. So I've got to get onto that, and that will enable me to get that CD player out from behind that speaker and have these racks organized a lot more nicely. Also, I'm sure many of you have noticed that the speakers are sitting on the floor, which again is not ideal. So one day I need to get around to getting some stands for these speakers, but just the size of them, they're such big speakers. Stands for these are not cheap. If you know what the JBL ones, like the timber, cross kind of ones, they're quite expensive, which are the ones you usually use for these. So anyway, it's still a bit of a compromise, and also it could probably use a bit of room treatment as well. On, like, I've got these hard walls. Yes, I took the bookshelves away, but that's left me with some hard walls. So a little bit of room treatment probably wouldn't go astray, but the point is that just for the cost of buying the book and buying the accompanying CD, I have been able to make a huge improvement to my system, really notice that improvement in imaging, notice the improvement in the sweet spot, the listening position, even if it is behind my desk at the laptop. I have really noticed it. And so, look, I got the book on Amazon. It'll turn up the next day or the day after. If you buy the book on Amazon, the music, the easiest way to get hold of the music is to go to the Octave Records website, which is PS Audio's recording publishing house. You can order a physical CD, or you can do a download. There's various formats of downloads. I did the download, I've loaded it onto my laptop, and then I just feed that into the DAC, into my system, and away I go, follow the procedure. So, yeah. So I would thoroughly recommend this, no matter what sort of space you have. You might not be able to do everything that's in the book, I couldn't, but just a few little tweaks can actually make a wonderful improvement to your system. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please subscribe to my channel, it helps me so much. Also check out my other channel, Watch Out. Give me a like and a share. I've got a Patreon to support my work across both my channels. Patreon.com/AudioNautica. And I really look forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye for now.